you smell what the Rock is cooking? The Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock. In my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's trying, I feel tension rising. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me, they talk to me.
Hello and welcome to the WWE/NXT Wrestling Talk Show with Rachel Rock Jones and
Our reactions to, first of all, NXT In Your House.
as NXT In Your House took place from the Performance Center, as most shows do with NXT these days, this past Saturday of June 4th, 2022.
Yeah, two dark matches with another mention to.
With two dark matches which probably aired on an episode of NXT.
See level up. We'll start off with our main card.
Yes. The show opened up with one of several matches with stipulations attached to it. We had the family of
Tony D'Angelo, Jenny Lorenzo, and Troy Donovan
taking on Legado del Fantasma of Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro,
formerly known as Raul Mendoza,
and Joaquin Wilde, with the stipulation that the losing team would have to join the winning team's stable. Now, 6-man tag team matches are always a pain
they always are, aren't they?
to analyse anyway. Much of fun to watch, but to analyse.
They are.
But after about 12 minutes and 45 minutes of tag team action filled with near falls, broken counts, and tags, it was the family on Tony D'Angelo's side that came out victorious.
Which means Legado del Fantasma must now join the family.
And I believe they're not too happy about it.
No, they're not. But that was the stipulation going into the match. They should have realised.
Next we had Toxic Attraction
Of Gigi Dolan and Jason Jane
defending the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships
against a team of Katana Chance, formerly known as Casey Catanzaro,
and Caden Carter.
Now, where did we expect this match to go?
Well, at the moment, there was a chance that they could have taken the titles away from Toxic Attraction because they did that exactly at Stand and Deliver.
Very true that.
But I think they either want to build Toxic Attraction up a bit more. I have a feeling as soon as Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction next lose the titles, they're going up to the main roster.
In other words, Mandy Rose rejoining the main roster.
Hopefully as a stable, because WWE, you could use a women's tag team on your main roster.
Yeah. Not like right now, actually. But the winners of the match.
And currently still the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Toxic Attraction.
Yes.
Sticking to a championship theme, like every other match, we move on to the NXT North American Championship.
As Cameron Grimes put his tongue on the line against Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes looked to make history here and join Johnny Gargano as the only other person to have multiple reigns with the North American Championship. And of course, he was never officially beaten in a proper match for the title. He just lost the title in a ladder match at Stand and Deliver.
Yes.
And in what was a surprising move, Carmelo Hayes, possibly with some help from Trick Williams, would win back the North American Championship.
Would.
However, when you look at the possible spoiler for NXT's upcoming Great American Bash show, you could possibly see why they did that.
Yes.
Next, we had the NXT Women's Championship on the line.
As the leader of Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose puts the title on the line against Becky Chu, formerly known as Bei Ying.
I will admit, I did think that this could possibly go either way. However, it probably what does make more sense to for it to go the way it did, especially with some of Toxic Attraction's interference.
Yes.
And as we kind of spoiler alert gave away with the Women's Tag Team Championship match, the winner of this match after 11 minutes and still NXT Women's Champion, going on, I will admit, a longer championship run than I thought they would give her, is Mandy Rose.
Yes, Mandy Rose retaining her championship over Wendy Chu.
Next, we go on to the men's NXT Tag Team Championship, which in itself appears to have had a last-minute stipulation added to it.
Yes.
This was pretty deadly,
Formerly of NXT UK.
defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against the Creed brothers.
Now, if the Creed brothers were to lose this match, they would have to leave Diamond Mine.
I believe that was just added, probably some kind of added motivation given to them by the leader of Diamond Mine, formerly member of of the Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong. Hello, this is WWE. We're allowed to say Undisputed Era without it being.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let's go into this match. Which way did we say this was going to go?
Well, if you'd asked me before seeing that stipulation, I probably would have said be deadly to retain. However, when you look at the circumstances that Pretty Deadly were given the titles, I can sort of understand why they would lose them this quickly.
Yeah.
And then that just goes to the main event.
Oh yeah, we forgot to say that the Creed brothers won the titles.
Well, we kind of did that by saying that if you told me beforehand, I would have said Pretty Deadly. But then, yeah, awkward circumstances with the NXT Tag Team titles at the minute. Yes.
Our main event, as my colleague said, and this will be for the NXT Championship as Bron Breakker defends his title against this loony by the name of Joe Gacy. Now, if Bron got himself disqualified in this match, he would lose the title, so no champion's advantage.
Yes, well, this whole thing, remember, was started when Joe Gacy decided to kidnap Bron's father, newly inducted into the Hall of Fame Rick Steiner. And then, of course, Joe Gacy's kidnap goon was then recently let go by WWE. There were several times during this match where Joe Gacy tried to get Bron Breakker to get himself disqualified.
Yes.
By bringing in chairs to the ring. At one point, the referee almost did disqualify him. However, cooler heads did appear to prevail, and Joe Gacy would get what was coming to him. Sweet form of revenge by losing this match.
Yes.
And Bron Breakker, at least at the moment, is still the NXT champion.
Yeah.
So now we will go through these matches one more time, I should say.
Yes.
So the family defeated again the Phantasma forcing them to join forces.
Thanks for the attraction of Kinky Gunn and Jason Jane retained their NXT Women's Tag Team titles against Katana Chance and Kate Carter.
Carmelo Hayes defeated Cameron Grimes to win the NXT North American Championship.
Mandy Rose retained her NXT Women's Championship against Wendy Chu.
The Creed brothers defeated Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
And Bron Breakker retained his NXT Championship against Joe Gacy.
And now, after a short recess, we will switch to WWE's main premium live event of the month, Hell in a Cell.
Show while.
Yeah, let's go. I got a vision I see in my head, a melody buried deep into my soul. They call us crazy, we cutting the edge, unlocking the future and letting it go. This is a calling that's higher, the time we decided our stories are gonna be told. This is where legends are born, we paving the road, a future that favors the bold. Break the rules, break the laws, this is the moment we change it all. Break the rules, break the laws, this is the moment we change it all. Yeah, greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. Not to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Something coming, I can feel it. Deep down in my spirit. Revolution, it's a new day. Time to redefine the limits. So vivid, I can see it. So loud, I can hear it. So they calling me a madman, but the future belongs to the fearless. Break the rules, break the laws. This is the moment we change it all. Break the rules, break the laws. This is the moment we change it all. Yeah, greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. This is the truth, into the light. Taking our dreams and we bring them to life. This is the truth, into the light. Taking our dreams and we bring them to life. Yeah, greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. We about to set the tone. We about to write the code. Yeah, we writing the code. Yeah. We on a new elevation. We came here to shatter the mold. We gon' shatter the mold. Yeah. We about to set the tone. We about to write the code. Yeah, we writing the code. Yeah. We on a new elevation. We came here to shatter the mold. Yeah. I know you hear it. I know you see it. We are the fearless. We are the genius. We are defiance. We are the beacons. We are the true believers. Yeah. Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Yeah. Woo. Greatness.
Red alert, time, shine a light down.
fans, we are back for Hell in a Cell.
Yes, let's begin our reactions to Hell in a Cell, which came out from Rosemount, Illinois at Allstate Arena in front of 12,834 members of the WWE Universe.
Yeah, for a change, there was no pre-show match added to this. However, after our pre-show, there was one match added to the main card.
Yeah, that was.
But the show opened up with the triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship, which will be Bianca Belair defending against both Asuka and Becky Lynch.
And originally, as we said in our pre-show, it was going to be, well, the original plan was supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Asuka, but Becky won a match to get into the match.
As well, this was full of spots, so we'll run through some of them quickly here. Asuka would catch Bianca Belair in an armbar, but Belair would manage to counter that and slammed Asuka onto the top of the turnbuckle. Becky Lynch would pull a book from her friend turned enemy and hit Bianca Belair with natural selection. Not again, just like with the rock bottom, not your move, Lynch. Then we would have Lynch try to perform a top rope leg drop on Belair, but Asuka would break up the pin. Then Belair would also would slam Asuka onto Lynch and perform a handspring standing moonsault for a double count. Again, with stealing moves, Asuka would hit a code breaker onto Bianca Belair. And then Lynch was off the ropes into another code breaker. Who do you think you are, Asuka? Jericho? Then Asuka would have both of them in a double ankle lock. They managed to get to the ropes. Lynch would then hit the rock bottom. You're welcome. Onto Bianca Belair for a near fall. But Asuka would break up the pin. And then the finish of this was essentially what the triple threat match is all about. Right place at the right time. With Lynch hitting a manhandle slam slash rock bottom onto Asuka, only for Bianca Belair to get into the ring, throw Lynch out and pin Asuka for the win and to retain the championship. Uh,
about that interruption, but you'll know where we are. We'll actually take on Okla's MVP in a
Now we won't spend a lot of time on this because I'm pretty sure it was very obvious what was going to happen here.
Yes.
Well, really, the whole point of making this a 2-on-1 handicap match was to have almost lose without actually losing, and to have Bobby Lashley get his hands on MVP, and that's exactly what happened.
Yes. So, next match was also a match between Kevin Owens and Ezekiel.
Now, this surprised me.
Yeah, me too.
Going into this, I was convinced that Walk with Ezekiel would win this match. During this match, we had a tornado DDT from Owens to Ezekiel for a near fall. We also had again, with the Steven moves, a swanton but Ezekiel got his knees up. Owens would manage to hit the proper powerbomb for the near fall. But then Ezekiel would make the mistake of going to the top. Owens would knock him off of a cannonball into a corner, and then, as he has done for a lot of months now, hit the stunner. Too bad he doesn't hit it as well as the man from WrestleMania. And Kevin Owens would win the match. Now the next match, not just the events of the match we have to talk about, it's then the events of what took place the night after on Raw.
Yes.
This was a 6-person mixed tag team match.
It was basically
The Judgment Day of
Damien Priest and
taking on the team of AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan.
we were in a 16-minute, 6-person mixed tag team.
So here we had a brawl to start off with. Then Judgment Day tried to spend most of the match neutralizing Balor from his teammate. Then when Styles finally got into the match, we had him hit Edge with a phenomenal forearm. But Priest saved that from pulling Styles out of the ring. Ripley would go for the Riptide on Liv Morgan, but it would reverse into DDT. Balor would then attempt a coup de grace on Priest. But Ripley would then get in the way. Then we would have Priest hit a South of Heaven chokeslam on Finn Balor, but he was caught over the phenomenal forearm. Then Edge would throw Styles into the ring post. Again, Finn Balor would attempt a coup de grace, but again, Ripley would get in the way. Liv Morgan would get would Rhea Ripley. Balor would miss the coup de grace, and then Edge would hit Balor with a spear, allowing Judgment Day to win the match. However, that does not end there. The next night on Raw, it was revealed that Judgment Day would have a member announced.
Yes.
That new member turned out to be Finn Balor.
It did.
And as if that wasn't bad enough, they would then turn on Edge.
Yes.
With Finn Balor now taking leadership of Judgment Day, and Edge, after only being heel for 3 months, roughly, would then turn babyface again.
So our next match was a match.
And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, Rhea Ripley, after winning the Gauntlet match, will now challenge Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank.
For the role as judge, but that's a show for another time in 2 weeks.
Next, we go to another rivalry.
And a match that was added after our pre-show for this show. Yeah.
So, we all know that ever since WrestleMania, Happy Corbin has not been happy with Mad Cat Moss.
Nope.
They had a match at Backlash which Moss won. Then Corbin decided to take out Moss with a quote-unquote injury for a couple of weeks.
And then he was also smashed up and cut off.
This was basically done so they could change Moss's look and music. So Moss then comes back and the match is made for Hell in a Cell in a no-holds-barred match. So Corbin would, during this match, beat Moss down with a steel chair, but Moss would take control and return the favour. Then Moss would hit a DDT onto Corbin. On the outside, Corbin hit a chop block on Moss. Corbin would then place a chair around Moss's neck and slam him into the announce table. Then Moss would hit a fallaway slam onto Corbin into the steel steps that was set up in the corner. And then hit the punchline on him. And then this is where things got a little bit ugly. Because Moss would place Corbin's neck into a steel chair and slam the steps onto him. And then pin Corbin to pick up the win. And Corbin would be carried out on stretcher. Now in a rematch from Raw, Theory defended the United States Championship against Mustafa Ali, in which Theory won.
Yes.
However, Theory appears to be having his biggest challenge coming up very soon.
Yes.
And that just leaves the main event of Hell in a Cell. Now, this match was probably changed slightly, as it was reported a few days earlier that Cody Rhodes had suffered an injury.
And that injury was a torn pectoral muscle.
And you could see the damage when he took his jacket off after coming into the ring. And then Seth Rollins, to be even more insulting than he normally is, would wear gear with the those dots on it. So here we had, let's see, disaster kicks, a figure four red rock, a frog splash. Then weapon-wise, we had tables, cowbells, sledgehammers. I think the most weird thing about this was that Cody Rhodes hit a pedigree onto Seth Rollins, then did two crossroads, and in very Triple H style, ended it with a sledgehammer, really putting Cody Rhodes 3-0 against Seth Rollins. However, due to the severity of this injury and undergoing surgery this past week, Cody Rhodes will now be out of action for up to 9 months, which is a little unfortunate because I think it's a safe bet to say they were probably leaning towards giving him the Money in the Bank ladder match. So let's quickly run through the results of Hell in a Cell one more time.
Yes.
Bianca Belair defeated Asuka and Becky Lynch to retain the Raw Women's Championship.
Bobby Lashley was almost happy that match.
Kevin Owens defeated Elias Ezekiel.
Judgment Day defeated AJ Styles and Balor.
Madcap Moss defeated Happy Corbin in a no-holds-barred match.
Austin Theory retained the United States Championship against Sami.
And Cody Rhodes defeated Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell.
And that does it for our Hell in a Cell followed by our next.
Now, our next shows, we will be switching companies and then celebrating 20 years of John Cena.
Until then,
Mr. Rock Jones, and he's been